Hi, welcome. If I did it a show where you analyze and solve pure kerfuffles from MMA World and Beyond.
Sorry. Yeah, yes.
You stopped on my.
Oh, yeah, I had to get to the double thing there.
Uh-huh.
I'm Alexei Auld, and joining me as always is Kid Native Bloody Elbow and Eugene S. Robinson from Aussie.com, and author of Fight Everything You Ever Wondered About Ass Kicking, but we're afraid to get your ass kicked for
Asking. Hey, there you go. There you go. And I like it known that this past weekend I showed up to a listener's house.
Invited or uninvited?
Well, I guess he invited me. He didn't seem surprised when I showed up. I put out a desperate plea for a place to watch the fight. And he goes, "I'm here, baby. I'm here, Hayward." So there you go. It can happen.
Wow. How did it all work out?
In your house. Oh, we had a great time. Watched the fights. Ate all of his food and stayed maybe 2 or 3 hours too long and made some long distance calls and
the beast that wouldn't leave. I think that's
exactly.
Went to his medicine cabinet and killed his dog. Things.
I see. Very exciting.
Well, speaking about fun times, Eugene, your WME-IMG.
Sir.
After watching your UFC on Fox promo about the upcoming Women's Bantamweight Championship, Joe Rogan tweeted, quote, "I find it extremely bizarre that all these at UFC 207 promos only focus on Ronda and very little about the champion at Amanda Leoa, a.k.a. Amanda Nunes." End quote. Do you make amends for your PR sins? And if so, how?
Well, you know what sin means in the traditional sense? It means a falling short, that I tried to do something else and failed miserably, and by the grace of God, I'm not going to be punished immediately for it. I have sinned. That's not what this is at all. Who is, just out of curiosity, maybe you could help me out here, who is Amanda repped by? I don't know. Who's she repped by?
Does it start with a C?
I could be. I don't know. But
or does it start with an N? Nada.
Let's go another way. Who is she not represented by?
Does it start with a W?
Yeah. So you know what? Joe, I love that he pointed out, and Joe of all people should know how the game is fucking played. But hey, I tell you once, I was in high school. Jesse, this guy named Jesse Rubens, captain of the wrestling team, is walking by me. Happens to have his arm in a cast. I take the water pistol. I squirted him in the face with just good-natured senior day hijinks. Well, he took offense. He comes over. He starts beating me. Now, I don't care what you're a captain of. If you got your arm in a cast, I'm winning that fight, right? So I take him down. I'm pummeling him on the ground. Good-naturedly. Jesse, what the hell are you doing trying to brain me with the cast? Meantime, one of these guys who we both knew, friends with both of us, keeps, "Hey, you guys, break it up. But he pulls me off. And as he pulls me off, he holds my arms for a few seconds too long. So that Jesse could take. Yeah, just right. And Jesse kind of looked and then realized, oh, fuck, it's Eugene. I don't know what I was doing. So he doesn't hit me. So I turn to Adam Davis and I go, "The fuck are you doing?" And he looked at me like Daryl Golar looked when he tried to screw a woman who I was screwing around with. He looked at me like, "Hey." It's like, how could you expect things to work any other way? What country are you from, or what planet are you from? This is the way the world works. And I realized he's completely right, So Joe Rogan is sitting at home scratching his head. I think he protested too much. He knows exactly the way the game is played. I don't know. It's kind of fucked if they haven't approached her. If I'm WME and I haven't at least put one of my junior associates, hey, get her repped. But there's no reason to have her repped. Because why? It's a new game in town, and she got to earn your way in, and she hasn't. Oh, she's got the belt? You know what? Great. Find yourself a sport where that belt matters, because it's not here, So, it was an oversight. It was a fuck up. They're growing pains. They got rid of some front office guys who maybe would take care of that. But, fundamentally, man, this is the new sheriff, Jack. You want to stay relevant? check your Q ratings, because that's what it's about, baby. Ronda could have come out in a wheelchair. She's still getting that treatment. So
this isn't a sin in the sense of they made a mistake and trying to do better next time. This is a flagrant act of, I mean, they committed this act on purpose. They did the exact same thing with Sage and Paige at UFC on Fox, where they all they talked about was Sage Northcutt and Paige VanZant. Their opponents, who ended up winning the fight, unmentioned. The ratings were great for the show, but I'm very curious to see how the follow-up's going to be if Mickey Gall and the chick whose name I can't even remember who beat the crap out of Paige is
Michelle Waterston,
Michelle
Karate
Hottie, of course.
And we'll get into Sage and Paige.
Yeah.
A little later.
All right. So I'm jumping topics here, but yeah. Now for Rogan, I mean, this is like, does he have short timer syndrome or something? Like, is that where this sass and this lip is coming from? Like, this dude is clearly not on board with the team play. So I think they've got some dream team. They're talking about maybe Jim Rome's going to be replacing Goldie in the booth. And God knows I've been a critic of Goldberg these many years, but I'm kind of sad.
He's an idiot, but he's our idiot.
Yes, exactly. He's our not strung out, not going to rehab or anything for any kind of, but had to do what he had to do. He's our red-faced, bloated, allegedly red-faced and bloated idiot. So, yeah, now they just give Joe the high hard one here because Joe fucked up. I don't think they give a shit. They're promoting Ronda Rousey, even though she's heavily favored to lose. I mean, everything about this fight says she's going to take a drubbing here. And
Hey, Nate, given that you were in a band in the old days, did you ever find yourself in that unenviable position of trying to justify to a promoter who would put a band over your band on the bill, hey, we've been around longer than those guys?
I never really tried that particular angle. I would try the old, we've got more of a crowd here. That one I would bother.
That makes sense. That makes sense.
But then I was a promoter at the same time I was in a band. So I heard that, oh, we're older. We deserve this. Yeah, no, you don't. If you can sell beer, you deserve it. If you bring
Ronda can sell beer.
And they're buying beer,
then sell beer.
Yeah, but if you're not selling beer, then just quit bothering me. Yeah.
Man.
So, yeah, with Rogan, I mean, Amanda Nunes is not selling beer. She's not selling pay-per-view. She's about to beat the piss out of Ronda Rousey, probably, but until
you didn't see that in that promo how Ronda has gotten back the dream team with their boxing skills.
Well, that's not actually that's not the scary thing. That I'm not gonna teach you how to tango if you can't keep the fucking rhythm and don't have the time. However, one thing that I noticed that was deeply disturbing, if you're taking the fight thing seriously, the fact that she has retained the services of Jason fucking Manley is serious. Jason Manley, you don't get much more serious in terms of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu than Jason Manley. Dude, pretty much, that's his entire life. Hardcore BJJ player, and as far as I know, she's been hanging with him, training with him for the last 8 months. Yeah, that's as close you're going to get in Southern California to Cesar Gracie, Nick, Nate Diaz, Jake Shields. Jason came up with those guys, purple to black belt. He's a serious, no fucking, not a fuck around cat at all. So while we're thinking that, and they always show the promos of her hitting the bag, the fact of the matter is she's been working with a apex level jiu-jitsu player for the last 8 months. What does that say?
Is that what she needs to be working on?
It opens the door into a potential strategy. That's all I'm saying.
It seems like
after the Holly thing, it's like, the Conor McGee is hanging out with Mike Tyson. You know what? That shit, you either got it or you don't. He's got 2 jiu-jitsu coaches. It takes such a long time to get. But if you top guy and nothing but, I'm never going to get to a Holly level. I'm never going to be. But she lets me get close enough and I can get her to the ground and I can handle her instead of her being able to roll out of some bullshit head and arm thing that I know from judo. No. It's like I've said, if you're fucking with a jiu-jitsu player and he's got a knife, you are absolutely positively not walking away from that. You know, I mean, just think about it all the time. You're doing Brazilian jiu-jitsu, and if I had a knife when I was doing it, you're not.
So you're saying she'll have a knife?
I'm saying that she could have something in her back pocket. That's not what people are expected. I mean, and they haven't made a big deal about it either.
Like Roddy Piper used to have like a pair of brass knuckles in his trunks, like that.
Okay. All right. You bet your money on nudes. I mean, right now, to me, I'm not making my pick. It's still too early to tell, but I'm just telling you what I'm finding out. I'm just telling you.
I see.
Oh, one thing that we need to find out. Nate, you're Dana White.
Ooh, I'm bald. Okay.
There he is.
After Conor McGregor's coach, John Kavanaugh, told RedFM that the UFC stripped Mystic Mac of his Featherweight Championship, you replied to Yahoo Sports, he's misinformed. Yeah, he doesn't know all that's gone on, I guess. Do you think I just did this? This was Conor's decision, end quote. Now, Conor's come out and not only insists that he's a champ, he name-checked the powers that be and left you out. Quote, I expect them to fly that jet to me. Ari, Patrick, the new owners from WME-IMG, the guys that bought the UFC for $4 billion. I want to speak to them. I want to see what their plan is. Because right now, I don't know what nobody's plan is, end quote. What is your plan to put some respect on your name?
Man, if you're Dana White at this point, I think you're better off just counting your money and keeping your mouth shut, because you got nothing. I mean, they fired your boys, Chuck and Matt. You're talking and facts are contradicting you, we've gotten used to this from Dana for a while. But in the old days, it seemed like Dana knew when he was bullshitting. And now Dana's just running his mouth, going off what he's told. I mean, I'm just speculating here, but it seems like he doesn't actually know what happened and the decisions that were made, and he's just running his yap. So if I was Dana, I would zip my lips or find out what's going on, and
play with some imported snow.
What?
Play with some imported snow.
Well,
he had the snow. Come on, man.
I mean, I thought you were talking about some other kind of
snow. No, look, this is a misspent life speaking there, my friend. Sometimes snow is just snow.
Sometimes snow is just
pizza
snow.
is pizza. Snow is snow.
I see it. Cheese is just delightful.
It's cheese. No, I mean, I think it's like you ever get a rental car and say, as you're driving along at about 70 miles an hour, I wonder what'll happen if I slam it in the reverse. Well, I guess I'm the only one. All right. So it doesn't happen right away. The car doesn't stop right away. Things, Chuck has to be fired. Matt Hughes has to be fired. Got to get rid of Dave Scholler. Things, have to curtail his tweeting and deleting, and
hire Eugene Robinson.
Yeah, exactly. You have to make certain changes. And the people who those changes are being made around know really quite what's going on until until the water's a little bit too hot. And like, man, all my friends are burned up, and this water is bubbling, and it's not a hot tub. They're dead. So I mean, is he causing damage? Not really, but it's clear that he's not. He's half the man he used to be.
Do you find that humorous, though, guys?
Can you bring back the metaphor with the car in reverse? Because you switch to the frog in the boiling pot, and never got back to the car in reverse thing.
His perception of where he is now that the car has switched direction, going, I don't say it goes backwards in this instance, but the car has switched direction is a little bit. There's a latency period off of where he thinks he is and where he actually is, And the reality of it is, everybody's enduring the same latency period, because if he thinks that Ari is getting on a plane to come to Dublin, he's wrong. If he thinks Ari is going to send the jet to get him to fly him to LA, he's fucking wrong. He should just be like, hey, maybe John could get on the phone with Ari if you got a few minutes for us. dude.
Is he
And
Lost
then-
Battalion, Eugene?
Ooh,
Dana White.
It sounds totally like you're describing an executive
I guess if he doesn't
in the
if he
Lost
doesn't-
Battalion.
Guess. You don't
just-
guess.
No, it's hard for me. It is
Journalist of
hard
the Year
for
doesn't
me.
guess.
Nah, it's hard for me to take a man who's got $300 million and say
The
he's
thick black
lost
dude
anything.
doesn't guess. What is going on here?
You know, no,
What the hell did you do,
no.
G.
300
Ramos?
mil,
Where is he?
man. 300 mil changes everything, Jack. You know, I mean,
Time
He
So
goes
you
could
could be
be-
too rich to be in the Lost Battalion? Is that what you're saying?
so Junior Dos Santos is fighting for pride? No, man. He's a 40-year-old man who's got to live the rest of his life on what he made. No, do you see Dana fighting? Do you see? I mean, Bernard Hopkins. Why is he fighting?
Here
We're
we
gonna
go.
get to Bernard.
Okay,
Here we go.
all right. So my point is, I have to think about whether or not Dana is or
Okay.
isn't. He doesn't seem excessively bothered. He's not making grand pronouncements because at the end of his yellow brick road are 300 fucking simoleons, man. That does not hurt. And it's
Well-
a job. It's a job he's had since the 90s. Have any of you had the same job since the 90s? Come on, man. It's time. Stop and smell the roses. You know, he's like,
It's like what?
it's just like Obama. It's like Obama now. People are like, how come Obama? His press conference, he was so passive. You know what? I tried to help you guys.
Did you
At
see
least he didn't
Michelle
do
said
it.
she was
At
going to be
least-
there for Trump today?
Passive the.
Yeah, I thought that was great. It's not like he did like Hitler did. At the point where Hitler knew he had lost the war, he was like, "Fuck Germany."
They failed me.
I mean, yeah, he said the Germans have failed me, and he issued the Nero order, which Albert Speer refused to fucking enact, and then they tried to court-martial Speer and take him out and shoot him and so on. But they blow up the infrastructure, blow up the bridges, the power plants. Actually,
Obama kind of did that with the oil companies, right? With his, they can't.
no drilling?
his declaration, yeah.
yeah, well, you know what? That's not gonna make a difference.
Man.
So
So we
anyway,
have differences. Eugene, your WME-IMG. Let's go back to that.
Mhm.
You bought the UFC and inherited their golden children, Sage, Northcutt, and Paige VanZant.
Sage and Paige, Paige Sage, Paige and Sagen.
With your purchase, in wake of their crushing defeats last Saturday on free TV, do you continue treating them like fair-haired favorites, or move on to your own kids?
No, I guess you didn't hear that thing I said about the car. Yeah, no, I am 100% guaranteed that those. Well, maybe her. I think there's some legs to her act, but I am 100% guaranteed that they never would have gone for that cornball Sage North. And now I can call him by his real last name, Sage Northcutt stuff. They just never would have done it. Guys like that, guys who look like that are a dime a dozen. They come to Hollywood with their female cognates and expect that they're going to make it because they got the look in whatever small town they're from. And you know where they end up? They end up on Arrow's Guide, my friend. Don't know what it is? Take a look at it.
What
Hey,
happened in
I'm working
Hollywood now
around.
that Don Simpson's dead, man? Don Simpson used to greet those girls from Kansas, and they'd be finding themselves face down in Don Simpson's toilet in no time, and never in a movie.
Yep.
At least
Yep.
according to the Heidi Fleiss.
Some guy tried to pull that shit on me back in the 70s. How do you think your favorite celebrity made it? They all make it this way. I go, oh, really? And then he goes, well, pick somebody who has it. I said, well, shit, Gary Cooper. And he showed me old pictures of Gary Cooper. Goes, look at him. You don't think he? And I was like, you know what? It doesn't matter. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. So I think Sage was the old regime. You know, that the rental car going this way, and I think they're just. I mean, why else would they? If they were down with the program, they wouldn't have given him fucking Mickey Gall. He had sort of a better than college chance of getting by Gall because Gall's got nothing on the stand-up, but he's got nothing on the ground, and you know, we're
And
here
he's
because of the
spooked.
great.
He's
Yeah,
gunshot now.
right. Yeah, exactly. And Gracie said it best. These fights are going to end up on the ground unless you got a powerful stand-up. And his IQ was fucked up because there was a part where Gall was kind of like, kind of shook, and he should have pushed it, and he hung back. Whatever. That guy. He's a kid. He's in college. He's got more money than any college job would have given him. Maybe he needs to go back there and focus because otherwise he's looking at 10 years of a hard slug and new bosses are just not buying that golly gee willikers yes sir, no sir shit. Paige, on the other hand, Paige, on the other hand, what is that Prince line? Never saw a pretty girl look this tough. She's got a lot of play. She can dance. She got the Dancing with the Stars thing. She's like an MMA Mary Lou Retton. Nobody saw Mary. Nobody saw Mary Lou Retton skate for fucking lick after the Olympics until she started doing carnival.
She was a gymnast, Eugene.
Mary Lou Retton?
Yeah, Mary
Who am I thinking about?
Nancy Kerrigan.
Nancy Kerrigan, Dorothy.
All right. So nobody's. So Nancy, whatever. Mary Lou Retton.
Mary Lou Kerrigan.
A gymnast.
Nancy Lou Wapner.
Nobody saw her do a fucking bit of gymnastics after that. She didn't even commentating on the things. Whatever. The thing is, at that point, she was America's sweetheart, and Paige has got that written all over her. So she comes back and fights. Fine. You don't understand. It's an entertainment company that owns you now. She's on the payroll to do movies, TV commercials, to do the tough girl thing that Ronda was trying to pull off. I mean, she's golden. He's not.
Well, it's funny. After the fight, there was a friend of mine who was rooting for Watterson out of ethnic pride.
Everybody else watching the fights?
And then, it's just for ethnic pride. He was like, and then when and I said, oh, so what do you think happened?
Ethnic pride, is he Filipino?
He's Asian, but generic ethnic pride. He said, I'm rooting for the Asian. Okay. So what happened is, I said, so what do you think of the fight, man? He's like, man, I didn't want to root for Paige, and I wasn't. But, like, when she came to, after being knocked out, she had a big smile on her face. I felt so bad for rooting against her. And I was like, man, okay, that's how in terms of, like, an it factor, right? So you have somebody who you root against and makes you feel bad for rooting against them. Man.
It's like when you root against Kid. That's exactly what happens when you root against Kid.
I'm glad he brought that up because I happen to have somewhere in here our picks from last week.
Are we reaching for our guns? Is this what we're doing? Because I got mine right
here. Yeah. Our picks from last week. Well, I got one wrong.
Let me ask my wife for the combination of the gun safe, and I'll be right back.
See, that's where you're fucked up because I don't need the safe.
I got small
cash to carry. Yeah, well, me too. But
so what's your take, Nate?
I think it pains me to say this. I think Eugene pretty much nailed it. I mean, Sage done, washcloth wrung. No more drops in that bucket. Man. Paige has a little more juice left, and she's a better fighter and much more accomplished than Sage is as well. So, and much more accomplished on the main stage, which is Dancing with the Stars. So, yeah, I mean, this hurts. But Eugene just said everything that needed to be said. I mean, except for the rental car thing, which is just,
I kind of went off. That was in the deep water with the rental car thing. But
yeah, it might be fun.
I pursued it anyway.
Think about putting a car in reverse at 70 miles an hour, but don't do it. It's a terrible, terrible idea, and it's got no relationship to any kind of business or UFC action going on.
But you know what? It has a relationship, what you just said, you're one to grow on, Nate, to Bernard Hopkins.
Is he older than you, Eugene?
Hey, man, fuck you.
Oh, here we go. As a 51-year-old fistic full of father time.
No, I'm younger than Eugene.
He is younger than me.
Yeah. Eugene was like a senior when he was a freshman, I think. So, So finish the question, Alexei. I'm sorry.
How could you best take advantage of a retirement which began with your being on the receiving end of a brutal knockout through the ropes and onto the floor last Saturday night on HBO?
Man, I'd call Larry Holmes on this one. I mean, this is the proverbial Muhammad Ali getting beat by Larry Holmes getting beat by Mike Tyson, except it wasn't Mike Tyson. He didn't pass the baton on to anybody that's going to be the next Bernard Hopkins. He just got his ass knocked right out of the ring by dude, basically. And so, yeah, I mean, I hope he kept some of his money. I mean, I hope he's not going to end up like Ricky Williams, the former Texas Longhorn and Miami Dolphin, who's now trying to sue some lady who grifted all his cash. Because your boxing career is done, Bernard, and I don't think he's got anything else up his sleeve. He's not. What do you think Bernard's Q rating is, Eugene? Is it
I really like the guy, man, but any boxer's got a hard time because seriously, you show me somebody who's got a high Q rating who's also a convicted felon. Outside of Robert Downey Jr., I can't think of any.
Yeah, it's slim to none. And also boxers, even Mike Tyson, who's got an aura, but it's like when Rocco Siffredi starred in a regular movie, and like Rocco in porn seems like.
I'm sorry, who's Rocco? I'm sorry,
Italian porn legend. Come on, and from the 90s.
Oh,
now he's a wizened
porn, as in pornography.
As in pornography, yes. And so, but Rocco,
you watch a lot of it.
What? Huh? Yeah.
You watch a lot of that. Huh?
And back in the day, my ex-wife used to like Rocco. And so Rocco in the porn context seemed like a bright, clean, shiny kind of guy. But then he was in a regular movie with regular people, and it was like, who let the orangutan in the living room? The guy and so boxers always have this vibe of, what's the jailhouse doing on TV kind of thing. And I don't think, Bernard, like, you get on a talk show with a boxer, the neck's thick, the hands are big. It just doesn't go well with Kathy and Regis or whoever's on The View these days. So I don't know what to say, Bernard. Save your money is my advice for Bernard.
What's your take?
Well, that was one bit of advice that Arnold had when he was, I don't know, there was a time when he had done Streets of San Francisco, and he had just been in like his first booking was under the name Arnold Strong. He didn't even use Schwarzenegger, and he said,
this was before the Eros Guide.
Yep, and exactly. Well, let's not get into that. Gold's Gym and male prostitution is another show in and of itself. But he said, look, to play these roles realistically, I gotta lose weight. I gotta lose weight. You know, I am always shocked when I see either pictures of myself from my steroid days when I was 265, or pictures from my now when I'll go to Tango and I'll be dancing with my wife and I'll look in the mirror. It's like, oh my God, she's dancing with a golem. Your perception is like, Jesus Christ, I feel like I'm a normal sized guy, but there are plenty of guys who are not 6'1", 212 pounds. So I think the same thing. It's an eternal issue with boxers because they get used to living world in a very different way as like a, top line predator, man. Fuck it, whatever, get out of my way. So yeah, it doesn't. I mean, the most amazing act of legerdemain is with Michael Strahan going from the football field to doing that fuzzy, fucking gutless, ballless early morning show and doing it well. That's fucking phenomenal. Man. Taking money off my table and in fact, I got more of an edge than he does. Nobody wants to see me at 7 o'clock in the morning with Kelly Ripa, much less Kelly Ripa. I guess that friendship flew apart. He's got his own show now, but you know what I mean. So yeah, so Bernard, I'm hoping. I get the sense that he did save his money, but I get the sense too that he's one of those guys that just likes people calling him champ. The plan B for him was like that, it's my identity, man. It's who people call me champ at the gas station, at the supermarket.
That's the road to working in the men's room at the casino, man. That's how you end up selling mints.
Fucking hurts. Pride hurts, man.
Speaking about pride hurting.
Let's talk to Holyfield about that nice house he used to have in Atlanta.
Yeah,
to visit him at.
Let's talk about Rob Kardashian, about those egos, because that's who you are, Eugene. After your baby mama Blac Chyna cleaned out your house, your refrigerator, your baby, and claimed you were responsible for Instagram getting hacked and revealing plans of dumping you, you IG'd, quote, "This weekend I was in an emotional bad place, did some things that embarrassed myself and my family. I apologize, and I'm seeking help to deal with my flaws / issues. Please pray for me. And I'm sorry at Blac Chyna. You are a great mother to our child, and I love you," end quote. Was this good PR and why?
Yeah, it was. Well, first of all, I'd like to quote Pretty Amberg in this case, and I would
who
really
I told you about.
Yeah, who you did. I gave you credit for it.
Oh, you got to keep giving me credit. Okay.
Okay, there you go. And I'd like him to put a gun in his mouth and see how many times he can pull the trigger. That would be my advice, my personal advice to this Kardashian cat. However, that's not what you asked me. And what you asked me, I'd say it's good PR insofar as the audience of people who give a fuck whether that guy lives or dies. I think they'll be mollified. They'll accept that. And given that he has no real job description or any other role on this planet, whoever expects anything of him will be satisfied that that's a clean breast of it, and it's touching, and it makes people go, oh, and they want to cuddle him to their breast and feed him.
What if it was all fake? Kayfabe, Eugene. Kayfabe.
That
you
would
poor
be
naive
great PR.
bastard. You've been suckered by the Kardashians, just like all the other girls.
Well, but I'm not. I'm trying so hard not to pay attention. And you know what? I was most offended this week because they tried to make this connection. They said Zsa Zsa Gabor, and everybody under 60 was like, huh? And they go, look, Zsa Zsa Gabor was like the Kim Kardashian of the 50s. And I flipped out. I went on an extended 15-minute rant. I go, have you ever seen Zsa Zsa Gabor? Have you ever heard her talk? She was a fucking comedian, man. She was hilarious. Zsa Zsa Gabor, she opens her mouth and the room lights up. Kim Kardashian, that's not the same person. That's not at all what's happening. And you can't even account for the age. Well, you know, this is 2016, things are different. Nah. Zsa Zsa Gabor was fucking vital till she died. She was a funny fucking woman, you know. In her second language. Now, you know, Kim Kardashian is a native English speaker and can't even pull off. People line up to hear her speak. I saw it myself at the theater in the Castro. Okay, sorry.
You can't handle the truth. Sorry. That's all. People love the Kardashians. That's all there is to it, man.
And this was everybody thought you were going to go to Thanksgiving. We're going to fight about the election. You know what we were fighting about at my family's place at Thanksgiving? The Kardashians. My mother and my kids are all like down with the program, you know? And I'm like, man. And then I'm like, well, you know, I mean, why she going to be someone like Beyonce? Beyonce's got talent. Beyonce can sing. And they all ganged up on me. Beyonce. My mother doesn't like Beyonce. My sisters don't like Beyonce. You know, and it goes back to Jay-Z being a crack dealer, and they're like, you know, no, we'll not accept him.
Wow. Painful.
So what's your take, Nate?
It's kayfabe. This is just bullshit they're pulling to push their new reality show. There's leaks everywhere. This is hornswoggle. This is. I mean, these people have got themselves in the position where they are the celebrity house. Heads, we win. Tails, we win. I mean, any cog on the machine can fly off, get stranded in a casino doing crocodile or bath salts for 18 days straight. And they're just replaceable. There's a new, you know.
Don't knock it. Knock it.
I mean, like you have a basement full of JonBenéts and they'll just move on down the road. Sorry.
Yeah,
that
was bad, man.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah,
so you know what? I feel like not even asking the next question, man.
Yeah, he brought me down with that thing at the end. What the fuck are you doing, man?
It's like catching.
Yeah.
So, Kid Nate, your Booth newspapers. On Monday, the main story on the front page of your papers in multiple markets ran with the same photo and headline, quote, Lions roped by Dallas Cowboys, end quote. The problem? It was the New York Giants who roped the Lions. Dallas plays Detroit next week. How can you salvage your reputation when you played yourself?
Well, first off, the Giants would have stomped the Lions, not roped. The roped verb is just for the Cowboys. But yeah, I mean, obviously this newspaper chain, which prints papers all over the Midwest, doesn't give a shit about its audience. And it's just assuming that the audience doesn't even know who played, that you can just print the wrong outcome of the Lions game and nobody in Grand Rapids is going to know the difference. You know, like I can just see the CEO, people in Grand Rapids can read. I mean, you know, the contempt for the audience and the whole thing is just palpable. It's like the time I was watching Andy Griffith on TNT and the entire episode was a digital static hash. And this went on for like 20 minutes. And I'm like, we kept checking back in and I'm like, nobody at the station is watching the fucking show. Nobody gives a shit. And this has happened over and over again. They had like a chemical spill in Idaho one time. And all the radio stations, I believe, were Clear Channel owned. And they didn't even have their shit together to do the emergency broadcast signal. Like the feds are trying to get a hold of somebody at HQ to tell the yokels, chlorine cloud, killing you, get out. And there's nobody at the wheel. And so That's what this is. This is absentee corporate ownership, just milking a few shekels out of the Hicks.
Hey!
What?
Some drachma. Let's just say drachma.
Drachma. Getting some juice. Just ringing the yokels.
Hey! Watch out with the juice.
Juice. Juice.
I got it.
Yeah. So it's obviously
Eugene wants his pound of flesh.
Exactly. But no, this is just
for
corporate absentee ownership. Just taking, not giving back, not even providing quality content. Like, I don't think there's any. I mean, they obviously do not give a shit about what they're doing or their audience. I don't think there's any way you can dig yourself out of that hole. I mean, other than to just come out and say, yeah, fuck you, we don't care. That's pretty much what they've done.
Man.
Which is good. My advice would be at this point, don't say anything, because that's in total concurrence with Kid Nate. That's all you have left to say. Listen, there were two noteworthy events, and one was me becoming terrified of flying, which I never was, and two was Aldrich Ames. All right, now I became terrified of flying somewhere in the 90s, right? Relatively late. I've flown a lot. And at Gold's Gym in Mountain View, California, I made friends with a guy who was an airplane mechanic. Yeah.
Was this before or after you became afraid?
No, I was not afraid.
And then you became friends with the mechanic. Then you were afraid. Okay, that's all.
Were you listening to Eugene's story?
I'm trying to establish a chain here.
So he told me the real deal. Now we segue to Aldrich Ames. And somebody said, you got to understand that if somebody walked into the CIA dressed like spy versus spy with a fedora, dark glasses, a trench coat, and bags of money with shit and bombs flying out of them, you got to understand that would not be unusual, right? What you have when you have Aldrich Ames, it wasn't about espionage. It was just about guy who hates his job, right? It was just, so the mechanic pretty much seconded that, said, hey, man, you know, from the depressed pilots to the guys working on it who are thinking about, I got shit to do later, I want to get out of here. Fuck replacing that hydraulic the filter. I'm going to just spray it, even though it's supposed to be changed every flight, and I'm going to replace it. I can save a few dollars for the company, and I can be out of here lickety-split. Happens every day. You know, these people, yes, we are members of the Fourth Estate, but really, these are just people who are thinking about doing something else, like everybody else in America. The guys who aren't? The guys who aren't are guys like that 1%. Like Tim Cook is not thinking about, he's not sitting at Apple thinking, man, now, hey, that play that I'm going to write, I could get Jimmy, he could play, this role. And then he's not thinking about that. He's not thinking about his band. He's thinking about fucking Apple. That's it. These guys are.
You're saying Steve Ballmer was focused on Microsoft when he ran it into the ground.
Oh my God! Well, that guy. He was a stooge. I got a great. I can't even tell it now. My Steve Ballmer story, but the line that came up that made it noteworthy. And I'll boil the story down to this one thing. Hey man, I'm from the street. There you go. Period. Close quote.
Steve Ballmer said that.
I didn't say Steve Ballmer said that. I'm just saying the Steve Ballmer story involved.
I know Elliot Spitzer said that.
A close associate of his. So, saying that to me in all earnestness, in the guy's $8 million house, he's telling me he is from the street. Gotcha, partner. So anyway, so I think, these are people, you're like Huffington Post before Ariana left and after Ariana left. The vast majority of people don't have messianic zeal about the jobs. They fucking come to work and fuck you. Sorry. Oopsie daisy. Guess what? I gotta go. Look, or like a friend of mine who was an Israeli foreign policy guy. He was like, his most favorite thing to say to me was, "Why do you always castigate the Jew for something that the Gentile does?" And these guys are sitting in the newspaper. Wall Street fucks up all the time. Why don't you go chase those guys? Leave us alone.
Well, that sounds like a segue that's kind of non-existent, but I'm gonna make it anyway. To our teachable moment, Eugene. Your news we got to Kurt Eichenwald. Last Thursday, you tussled with Tucker Carlson over your tweet about Donald Trump's mental health. Shortly thereafter, you received a malicious tweet that read, quote, "You deserve a seizure for your posts." End quote, and triggered your epilepsy. Monday, you tweeted, quote, "As promised, I'll be tweeting legal updates about the assault on me. I'm coming for you, you son of a bitch." End quote, with a scan of your Dallas District Court petition to reveal the identity of your assailant. What can we learn from your torrid week?
Yeah, man. Kenny Rogers said it best. Got know when to hold it and know when to fold it. And if you emerge from a kerfuffle having almost successfully rehabilitated the life and career of a prick like Tucker Carlson, you have fucked up majorly. I mean, John Stewart sitting at home in Jersey going, "Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me?" I thought the guy's like Jason. I thought I had him buried, and you gave him life. I mean,
he's not bring the bow tie back.
Yeah. I mean, don't play the game if you can't play the game, man. You can't, it just don't. I don't care what your thoughts about Donald Trump, but the prevailing sense I get with Donald Trump is like any good entertainer, he's creating a perpetual now via the Twitterverse, and he doesn't really give a fuck like any good billionaire. Really, he doesn't. I mean, do you think he really gives a fuck about being president? I don't even think he cares about that. I think he likes to do it because he wants to upend the apple cart. I bet you in his own way, he wants to help people just as much as anybody else who takes a job, except the people he wants to help very specifically are him.
I am the people. We the people.
Yeah, I am the people that I want to help, So this guy, I don't know where you start pulling up magical diseases that you got. I mean, I guess maybe others knew he had epilepsy. I didn't know it, and you start using those for exculpatory reasons, and you start, but you know who wins Twitter wars? It's like playing ranking when you were a kid on the streets. The guy who started swinging first loses. How you don't have to be older than fucking 10 to figure that out. Your mama's so ugly that she and the guy goes, "Oh, she's talking about my mother." That guy, he might kick your ass, but he lost.
Yeah.
What's your take, Nate?
This is just a classic stop digging, dude. You're in a hole, stop digging. Like when you're getting pwned by Tucker Carlson, and you're a professional journalist, like Eichenwald actually has a resume and has broken good stories and done good work. And now he's in the pig trough with Tucker Carlson, showing up with a 3-ring binder of stupid things Tucker Carlson has done and can't even get to it because he's so busy pwning himself on the air and changing stories. And he originally tweeted that he had some scoop that Trump had been in a mental institution in the 90s. And now he's trying to back away from that and why doesn't he just say, "I fucked up. I believed its source. It didn't pan out. It's the life of a reporter. I made a mistake." He just can't do it. And now, when he allegedly received the GIF that allegedly caused him to have an epileptic seizure, his wife gets on Twitter and is like, "He's having a seizure now." And it's like, really? Like your husband's having a seizure and your first thought is, "I'd better jump on his Twitter account and let his followers know." I mean, and then he claims he's, filed a criminal complaint. And the next day I see a headline on Breitbart, Dallas police have no police, say they don't have a police report. Like, dude, you're getting pwned by Tucker Carlson and Breitbart and you're Vanity Fair and Newsweek. Like you're a legit A-list journalist. Just stop. Take Christmas off. Take some time off, dude. Settle down, Beavis. That's all I can tell the guy. That's all I can say. Or go to Mar-a-Lago. Can I segue to the heel turn? So I was going to try to do an MMA heel turn this week because there was some shit to talk about, but we already covered most of the things. But I got to talk about the DC press corps. And I'm talking about reporters from Politico, BuzzFeed, Newsweek. 22 reporters go to Mar-a-Lago, to Trump's private estate, for an off-the-record visit. Like, this is everything. This is why Trump wiped his ass with you idiots, because you gave Bush and Obama decades of off the record and ass kissing and just anything for access. You're going to spend, I mean, to me, any reporter who spends time with the president-elect off the record should be fired. That is bullshit. You're not supposed to be having private conversations. You're a reporter. You're supposed to be reporting, not getting cozy with the powers that be.
Not developing a reportee?
Yeah, and posting pictures of the sumptuous spread and buffet on Twitter. I mean, it's like, fuck you people. And they're too stupid to realize Trump is laughing at their dumbasses. Like, they're not getting cozy with Trump. They're not getting anything out of this. They're getting played. These are trophies on Trump's wall right now. Every tweet these dumbasses send out celebrating their access is just Trump laughing at you and exposing you as impotent fools. I mean, you don't need the Columbia Review of Journalism to tell you this was stupid and completely unethical. So that's my heel turn of the week. All 22 reporters who went to Mar-a-Lago should be fired. And if you're reading these idiots and believe in the bullshit they post, you should be fired too from Earth.
And wait, hey, hold on.
You don't get to reply to the heel turn. I don't get to reply to the Lost Battalion. Come on.
Can I, as a journalist, I'd like to add something, but I guess if you don't care,
special dispensation.
No, it's okay.
You asked so nicely.
Okay, well, I mean, the thing is, I think you're 100% right, but I haven't been pleased with the press corps, very specifically since George W. Bush. It was shocking to me. Let me give a little story. I'll keep it brief. A friend of mine used to be the head of a company called Stanford Telecom. Jim Spilker, older guy, supremely bright. During the Reagan years, when they were talking about Star Wars and brilliant pebbles and space lasers and all this shit, they descended on Silicon Valley with buckets and buckets of cash. He's sitting in a meeting and they say something that violates one of the laws of thermodynamics. It's a law of thermodynamics. He's sitting in a room with PhDs and scientists, and he starts to laugh like you do when somebody, like if I say, oh yeah, I'm going to fight. I mean, just something crazy for the community. He's like looking around, like, ha ha. And nobody around him was laughing. They were all sitting watching the stage, like nodding. And he said, these are bright guys. Oh, I get it. Guy shows up with a truck of money and wants to pay you to discover the magical elves. You take the money to discover magical elves, man. Except for the journalist who got in line with Bush. What was the recompense? Did you get a raise? What did you get? You got to go to Mar-a-Lago for your book. You're gonna write a book, The Inside View.
Yeah, nice shrimp dinner, man.
Yeah, you get. I mean,
Trumps.
Yeah, Trump has it. He's a casino guy. He's been seeing the shit side of people and personalities for his entire fucking life. Are you kidding me? It's like sausages and plates. Hey, why don't you come down to Mar-a-Lago? You can stay in one of the rooms. I'll comp you. And the guys, they go for it. It's like Satan sitting there going, every time. You guys are such easy fucking prey every time.
Man.
So. And again, of course, as a journalist, you're lying to yourself, saying, "Well, I got this access. Yeah, I got the in." No.
I'm just like, I got access. Can you get another one?
Hey, baby, how you doing?
Oh yeah.
No. Yeah, exactly.
So Donald, when's the next time we're gonna? Man. So Eugene's.
I gotta get a wood chopping sound there. Yeah, time for go ahead. I'm sorry, I stepped on your line.
Time for Eugene's Lost Battalion.
Yeah, it pains me to do this. It really fucking pains me to do this. Well, you don't believe me when I say it. No. In a very broad way. Oh, stop. You guys are ridiculous. I'm gonna say this some of the time, but in this instance, this guy is fucking young enough where my heart, I don't call him Sage Northbutt anymore. You notice that I've changed.
That was a very generous gesture on your part.
But I think he's Lost Battalion, man. I don't. I mean, you know what it's like? It's like seeing 18-year-old fucking porn stars, man. You just like, they think they know what they're going with. They don't know what the fuck. God, Jesus Christ, this is not the thing that you want to watch, man. This is, and he's John with Gall in the cage, and he's waving, and he's like, yeah, and he's got the father who's bouncing him from pillar to post in the gym, and Todd Marinovich comes to mind. I mean, this is why don't you just let the kid be a kid, man? Go to college. He's a good martial artist. He had a little, make it like a game show thing. Like he could or make a Wish Foundation. He fights a few fights. Let the guy get on with his life. Now he's stuck with this thing of like, I got to try to make a career out of this because my dad's pushing me under the stick. Can't live a normal life. I believe he's a true martial artist. You don't get there without having some real actual love for it. But what's the career path for him? Man, what's gonna happen to this guy? And his father's pushing him to make crazy pronouncements about this and that. Is this guy challenging for the belt? Is he going to go up a weight class? Is he going to go down a weight class? Is he going to justify the money, whatever they gave him? Is he going to be in TV commercials? Are they going to put him in movies or TV shows? This guy, I don't know what he's thinking about his future, but like I said when I was breaking up with some woman, we have no future. He's got no future, man. At least you got other guy. What?
You thinking Johnny Rotten at some gal you're dumping? It's just amusing. To me, that's all.
So anyway, it's sad, man. It's sad, and it's weird because it's not consistent. You look at a guy like who's the Hat Man, the Brad Pickett, right? Brad Pickett,
one punch.
That was a fucking gutsy fucking loss. And if you're watching, you're going. He bounced up like a little Jack in the like a Bobo doll. He's got his hat on afterwards. So you can't see how badly damaged his face. He didn't say fucking uncle, and he fought to the end. That guy's a reliable fucking. He'll deliver an entertaining fight. He'll fight to the end. He'll pop up. He'll put the hat on. He'll say something cute in that British accent, and he's off. He's got his shtick. His name plate on his desk says something underneath. Fighter plus whatever. That guy. So he lost, like Sage lost. But they're in fucking different places, and very little of it has to do with actual how much they were paid. Even though I imagine Pickett got paid a lot less than Sage. So
plus he's 39 and he's lost like a ton of fights in the last couple of years and taken all kinds of brain damage.
So he's fine to take away. There's nothing I hate more than a yes man. Isn't that right, Brad? Yeah. So, but Sage, man, this is the kid. How old is this kid?
22.
Yeah. Okay. Where do you see?
At least he's not a teenager anymore.
Yeah. Okay. Where do you see him at 32, man?
In Katy, Texas.
Tell me. Yeah. Tell me if that makes you feel good. Hey,
I don't know.
I'm reliving the apple crushing phase, that little fad that he had too.
Yeah.
Remember the apple crushing fad?
Believe me, there's plenty of people in Katy, Texas that are never going to get out of Katy, Texas, and that's just fine. That's where we want them.
From that point of view, there's probably a guy like me sitting in Katy, Texas going, fuck that guy. What the fuck does he have that I don't have? I'm glad to see. I saw him over at the Tasty Freeze the other day. I said, hey, Sage, yeah. Well, no, man, you did that from a car speeding by. Whatever. He knew it was me. So yeah. So Sage is the most noteworthy entry. And what's the biggest drag, right, is that as he's walking to the misty climbs of the Lost Battalion, he's like talking to Paige. He's like, yeah, it's a drag. They really did us wrong. You did Paige? Paige? Hey, what happened to Paige?
She had a shoot to go to. That's all.
Yeah. Somebody told me a weird joke the other day. They said,
"Don't repeat it."
No, I got to, man. I want you to help me make sense of it. So the guy he's at Auschwitz, and he's being ushered into the fucking. Yeah, exactly, right? He's being ushered into the gas chamber, and he's a Polish guy, and the SS guy, they're about to close the door, and the SS guy puts his foot in the door and says, hold on. He goes, hey, we're building a new outfit here. I need a carpenter. Anybody got any good carpenters in here before you take your shower? One guy sticks his hand up. He goes, yeah, I'm a carpenter. And he goes, oh, okay, all right, come on. And he gets to the door, and he goes, wait. How much are you going to pay me? So the guy's telling me this joke, and I just look at him, and then exactly. He goes, he sees that he sees me wearing the Star of David. He goes, thinks I'm like, he goes, whoa, no, it's a Polish joke. I mean, my wife is Polish, man.
No, double down, double dip in shame.
So I don't know.
Yeah, there's no.
So you had to repeat it on the air. That's.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, come on.
I don't know where I was going with that.
Yeah, that was. I told you not to tell the joke. I tried to.
Unlike me, I haven't had dinner. You guys have all rested and had your wine and stuff, and I'm sitting here. I'm deprived.
No wine for me. Just pure Grey.
Yeah,
Cold sober.
I'm waiting for the show to end before I get my wine, man. I'm drinking water.
Okay,
That's right.
All right.
That's called a professional, Eugene. Professional.
I don't know what that means. My favorite, I don't know. I could be late coming to this, but I'm really enjoying Eric Andre.
Because.
Oh yeah.
Because I think that large chunks of life should be done with exactly that kind of. I wish I could do Ozzy like that. Like start writing the article and halfway through the article, just go, this fucking sucks. I'm bored. Hey, just
that T.I. interview is classic, man. That's probably one of the all-time greats. You see that one?
Yeah. Which one?
T.I. when you had the rapper T.I. on there. Yeah, zombies coming out the floor.
It was great. It was great. Really great
man.
Stuff, man. Yeah.
Well, Lisa, hey, we're ending on a laugh.
There you go.
Thanks for joining us. Also,
don't let kids say anything else. They'll bring you down again. Wait, quick, get to the exit before he comes up with some more dead kid stuff.
That's some that's some great jujitsu, verbal jujitsu, Eugene. At Eugene S. Robinson, a kid named Alexei Auld, please give us a thumbs up, Eugene.
Yep. Yeah, there you go. Hey,
right.
Hey, guess what? I got some early news here.
No.
In February. Okay, forget it. Never mind.
Go ahead. Come on, man.
No, Nate doesn't want me to break the news. No, in February, I'm trying to put together an old style variety show that's like a combination of Penthouse Hugh Hefner with Christopher Walken as a Continental. Now, I'm gonna invite you guys out. It'll be a blast.
Are you playing Christopher Walken role?
I'm playing Eugene Robinson
as Christopher Walken in the Continental.
Maybe it's inspired by, So.
I see. And are you gonna have that comedian that told you that joke there doing the funny stuff?
That wasn't a comedian. That's a 320-pound jiu-jitsu player who I was just about to roll with.
He was psyching you out before the match, Eugene. That's what that was.
It actually worked, man. It actually worked.
I'm sure it was. And then you go and repeat the joke. He's still zooming you.
Yeah, he got me.
Yeah, he got you. You got.
Well, leave comments on YouTube. Subscribe to MMANation.com on YouTube, MMA Nation on iTunes. Visit Lady Elbow. Read Eugene at Ozzy.com. Be sure to check out all three of us on Amazon.com. We'll be back next week with another edition of If I Did It, and we don't know what we're going to be talking about because the PR mistakes have yet to. Huh?
Sorry, I'm sorry, but Christmas is coming.
Middle finger in the air.
But Christmas and Hanukkah are coming up, right? There are no fights this weekend, right?
No fights this weekend.
No cage fights. There's gonna be a lot of fights at the family table and under the tree.
Hey, listen, Mr. Silas McGree, are you expecting me to do a knuckle up on Christmas?
Oh.
No, I'm not expecting you to do a knuckle up on Christmas, but if you want to, I'm not going to stop you. But no, come on. Okay. Come on.
All right, there you go. I get the day off. All right.
He does this on the air.
Sorry, Alexei.
Okay. Sorry, not sorry.
Yeah.
He stopped on the exit line. That's
exactly.
It can't be said.
Restart. See, this is a live show as opposed to something that's taped and delayed. We'll be back next week with another installment If I Did It, and we don't know what we're going to be talking about yet because the PR mistakes
have yet to be made.
Oh.